What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, it's officially 1:07, and I actually got to connect into my show. My deepest apologies to Lisa. I'm in the middle of what I would call bumfuck China at a McDonald's, and it takes 27 minutes for me to connect to the internet, so I feel terrible. So without further ado, I'm not going to keep Lisa waiting. Let's get her on the line and start our interview. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
Hi, I am so sorry. I don't know if you heard my little intro there real quickly, but I'm literally en route between places. So I'm actually at a restaurant doing this show, and it's taken me like 5 minutes to dial into my show. So I'm so sorry that I kept you waiting.
No problem at all. No worries. I understand.
Oh, my gosh. We're finally here. We're finally together. We're both finally saying, so hi. I hear wonderful things about you from Miss Dana Humphrey. When Dana refers a client, I don't even hesitate. I'm like, oh, my God, I have to know this person. And you're phenomenal. There's so many things about you. There are so many things about you that I like. I've done my homework. I've done my research. I'm like, oh, my God, this is going to be an awesome interview. So I'm going to start off with a very – you're quite welcome. I'm going to start off with a very simple, very basic question because you kind of left me hanging on your Facebook page, so I want to ask right off the bat, did you end up doing the skydiving? Because I'm like, I've been sitting since last night thinking I'm going to ask her right away. Did you end up skydiving?
Did I do the skydiving? No. My 19-year-old daughter did it, and she totally inspired me, and I will do it, but I have not done it yet. It's on my bucket list.
Oh, okay. That's kind of what I thought, because I saw that and I thought, my God, she is one brave woman if she does that, because I'm not even sure I can do that. That's like terrifying to me. Call me crazy, but I'm like, okay, fine. Now, because you are so multifaceted, I kind of want to start from the beginning and work our way forward, obviously, to WiggleLess, because most people will know you for that, but not everybody knows some of the former things about you. So I kind of want to jump around a little bit, talk about the various things you've done. One of the first things is I love the fact that you are co-founder of an organization called Scarves of Human Kindness. I want to talk about that because I like the idea. I like the goal. Talk to me a little bit about how you got involved in that. Are you still involved in that, and can other people get involved in it?
Well, unfortunately, we're not still involved in it. It was several years ago. My neighbor and very good friend is a fiber artist and an amazing knitter, and she actually taught me how to knit. And so we spent we just kind of brainstormed. I was a minister at a church in town, and we had this idea, and we thought it'd be a wonderful idea to wrap the world in human kindness. And so for a year, we had this project, and women and men from all over the world. My father knitted a scarf, and everyone was sending scarves in from all over the world. And then Darian and I went to shelters in San Francisco and Boston and around and gave out these wonderfully hand-knitted scarves of human kindness in the cold weather.
Oh, my God. See, that's what I loved about it. I'm like, just the concept of that is so amazing. And the idea of that, especially nowadays, if you look at the year that we're in now, 2017, the chaos that's going on in the world, I'm sure you're quite aware of it.
Yeah.
We seem to have lost that sense of being kind to one another or caring about one another or having their best interest at heart. And I love the fact that you had gone and done the giving to regular people, going out to shelters. That is an extremely humane job to do. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that humankind needs... Humankind needs kind humans. So
yes, I agree with you.
I think it goes a long way. Thank you.
Quite all right. And on that same caveat, I want to flip side a little bit and talk about, I know that you had volunteered at one time, if I could talk today, the Tibetan Aid Foundation.
Tibetan Aid Foundation. Yes, I did volunteer. I was on the board of directors for the Tibetan Aid Foundation, and they, wonderful, wonderful family that moved to our town. How many years ago now? Probably 20, almost 19, 20 years ago, and they were embraced fully by our town and supported in every way. And they started an organization, and it was a huge success. Our town came together and supported them, and we did fundraisers, and they made significant amount of money to build a clinic in the rural part of Tibet. Unfortunately, now that clinic is not operating due to some political and government issues.
Oh no.
I know, and
gosh,
it was beautiful.
that.
My husband, actually, who's a cameraman in the film industry, and my 14-year-old daughter at the time flew to Tibet with this couple who had not been there for 14 years, and got to spend time at the clinic, and just it was an amazing journey for both of them, and they're wonderful, wonderful people, and they've done a lot of good for the Tibetans.
I imagine so. And see, that's just, I have a girlfriend who actually volunteers in Haiti as well, and I always love the concept of going to another country and being able to help out those that are less fortunate. That is just, that's heart work. That's what I call it, literally. It's heart work, not so much, getting your wings to heaven, I would call it, so to speak.
Right.
So I appreciate that. Now, we're going to flip again once a little bit. I absolutely love this fact about you. I did not realize that your nephew was actually on the show Modern Family. I thought that was really cool. I'm like, oh my God, how exciting is that? You must be so proud.
My nephew he has a band in Los Angeles, and he's actually been very active in NPR's Moth Storytelling. So he's actually been traveling the world and is in Anchorage, Alaska right now, and he'll be at the Lincoln Center in New York at the end of March. And he is just a wonderful storyteller. My brother and his father died on Mount Everest in 1996, and it became a very publicized climb and tragedy that books were written and movies were filmed. And so it is his journey as a 9-year-old boy understanding about his father's death. So it's beautiful.
That's very powerful. My goodness gracious, definitely. Yeah, I just thought that was neat because I'm like, you never know who you're going to research. And when I always look at people, I'm like, well, let's find something that's neat and ordinary. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's totally neat and ordinary because not everybody is in my realm, with entertainers and actors and things like that. So that's absolutely awesome. Now, one of the things that I can tell you folks about Lisa is, of course, obviously we'll get into your love of dogs. But, oh, my God, holy goodness, woman, 7 chickens. Did I get that right? 7?
7 chickens. We're at 4 now. But yes, I love my chickens, and they do free range in our backyard, and a couple of them were unfortunately didn't survive a wild animal attack. But now I have 4 beautiful chickens, and just very happy with them. They're like little pets. They come when I call them, and sit on my lap, and they're just a lot of fun, and they also produce incredibly healthy organic eggs, so it's fun having them. Okay.
Now, just out of curiosity, because obviously I know that you don't keep them in the same room necessarily, but I mean, do the dogs have interaction with the chickens, and do they squabble at all?
Everybody coexists harmoniously, yes, and it's interesting because my one... They all coexist, and I have a Cocker Spaniel who he just, the most he will ever do is sort of just give a little run after them and watch them flap their wings, and then he's done. But they all get along well.
That's amazing. I can't even imagine what your house is like. She's got a husband. She's got children. She's got dogs running around. She's got chicken runs around. I'm thinking, when does this woman sleep? Literally, because there's got to be a noise issue, and you're never by yourself. So, seriously, how do you manage all of that? Isn't it a little crazy sometimes?
Oh, at times. I broke my foot a couple of years ago, and that was just challenging because my husband does a lot of traveling, and my girls were in and out, and so it was just me, and that's when, when you're walking around the backyard trying to, clean the chicken house with crutches and a broken foot, it's, sometimes it gets a little intense, but... Overall, everything is really great, and it's wonderful to be surrounded by the unconditional love of animals,
Oh, of course, without a doubt, absolutely. Now, I know, obviously, relative to your education, you attended both Ridge High School as well as Seattle University. What I thought was interesting was you had studied English language and literature, which is my big thing, of course, because I've been a long-time writer. So my question to you is, how often you get to utilize the language and literature skills? Meaning, I wasn't sure if you had done professional writing before, because I know you've done the CDs before. But do you do professional writing, articles, things outside of the blog?
I haven't. I mean, it's on my list. Running a company has really keeps me very, very busy, and so some of the things that I would love to get to, go to the back burner. But I've been in writing classes and writing groups, and I have a lot of I really enjoy writing shorter pieces like essay pieces, and I call them think pieces about my observations about life and the world and humanity and all. So I write every day, but I haven't pursued, publishing right now.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, so it's on the docket. That's kind of what I thought, because I thought, yeah, she's not going to study all that and do nothing with it. I think we all pretty much utilize some of the backstories that we have and such. Now, to those of you that have seen Lisa's picture, of course, because it's on my Facebook page or otherwise, you know what happens when you have a radio show? A lot of times somebody will look at people coming on and they're like, oh, my God. And in this case, Lisa's a very attractive woman. So let's dispel the rumors and let's talk about your husband. Yes, she's married, so nobody listening in can, of course, ask you for a date because you do have a husband and have been for some time. So talk to me a little bit about your husband, meaning is he a creative as well? Does he own the business with you? What does he do? How'd you meet him?
My husband he's a wonderful human being. We've been married for 30-some years, and we met in Seattle, Washington. We were both involved in the commercial fishing industry in Alaska, and so was he. And it was kind of through the commercial fishing that we met, and we moved to California in '96, and he pursued a career in film and camera. So he's been in the film industry as a Steadicam operator and a camera operator for close to 30 years now.
Oh my God, how exciting! Now, does he write film himself or create film?
No, he's worked on all the Pirates of the Caribbean, and he worked on Walk the Line, and he's worked on some wonderful features, and so he's sent all over the world to do his work. So it's been a wonderful career for him, and it has helped, it's opened up a lot of, as when my girls were young, we went and visited him to many exotic places while he was filming, so it's been wonderful.
Oh, my God, how neat. Now we like him, too. Oh, my God, Pirates of the Caribbean, that's awesome. And how an exciting life. Anytime people are involved in film, it's I say that all the time, it's absolutely exciting. Okay, now, obviously, I want to flip over to your daughter, Taylor. I've seen her. She's gorgeous, and I hear she sings. So let's talk about her. I'm all about shameless promotion. Talk about Taylor. Where can we find her? Can we go see her sing?
Well, right now she just has one song on iTunes called I Wanna Be, and under Taylor Scott Luckenbach, and she is a very talented musician, guitar player, singer. She's a freshman right now at Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz in California, and she is studying environmental law right now. So we'll see. She's always got her guitar with her. She's playing up at school, and we would love to encourage her to keep that, and she will, but right now she's not trying to pursue anything professional. She's just enjoying playing at coffee shops and things like that.
Oh, that's so neat, too. That's absolutely neat. Now, do other people in the family have that singing ability, or is it just she just decided she wanted to get up and sing one day?
Well, I think she got it. As young girls, we just tried to expose them to as many things as possible and see what took and what they really were interested. So my younger daughter was music and singing and community theater and plays and musicals and things. And then my older daughter, Lindsay, is a very talented painter, and she went to Savannah College of Art and Design, and so she's the artist. Nice. So it's nice that they both have their strengths and they're not competing with one another, and they're very good friends.
Oh, my God, and that's so sweet. And they look very similar to one another because I've seen their picture, and yes, I know they're sisters, but they are really lovely girls.
Oh, thank you. Inside and out. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. I'm sure they get that from their mother. I've absolutely no doubt about that. That's what I've heard about you, but don't tell anybody. I'm just saying. Now, I love the fact that you're originally from New Jersey because I'm moving to New York in 7 years. I'm in Wisconsin, but I'm eventually moving there because, of course, in my line of work, it suits me to either be in L.A. or New York, and not as much of an LA girl as I am New York. And I know that you originally came from New Jersey. Now, were you there for a sufficient amount of time, meaning you go back and travel back and forth? Is your family there, or was that just
No, I graduated from high school in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and then pretty much came to the West Coast after that. I went to school in Seattle and spent time up in Alaska, and then we moved to California in '96. So I've been on the West Coast, and my parents have both moved since then. My mom passed away this year, and my father lives in Tennessee right now.
Oh, wow.
So I try to get to see him and back and forth, and we're kind of all spread out. Seattle and Charleston and Tennessee and California.
Oh, my goodness, that is quite spread out now, isn't it? My
Yes.
gosh. Well, I mean, as long as you find time to get together, that's the important thing. And New Jersey and New York are a little bit different, but I thought, well, anytime somebody comes on the show, I'm automatically like, hey, do you want to get a hold of me and let me know, like, I'm trying to figure out if I have to plan, like, 9 years ahead of time just to be able to move there because I hear it's a little expensive. You know what I'm saying? Because they say it's a little expensive, and I'm literally scared right now how much money this is going to cost me to live there. But New Jersey, I understand, is a little bit different, right? Because, well, depending on, did you live close to the city or?
We lived about 40 minutes away from the city. We lived in northern New Jersey, and so, yes, I think it's a lot more reasonably priced if you just live across the line, you know.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, it's a work in progress. I got 7 years. I think that's more than enough time, but we'll see how things go. I want to talk about this quote that you said, and it's so funny. It's so cute, folks. Listen to this quote. I may have even been a dog once. Who knows? I love that. That is so cute. Now tell me why, under God's green earth, would you have ever thought, hey, for all we know, I would have been a dog at one time. What do you and dogs have in common, my dear?
I just get them. I have a real, feel very dialed in to all animals, dogs in particular. I, never was without a dog growing up, and they just brought a tremendous amount of comfort, balance, stability to my life growing up with teenage years and everything that we go through in life. And I just have just so much respect for them and their graciousness and their unconditional love. And I guess I just feel like I get them. I understand them. I've also taken animal communication classes. I've taken canine massage therapy classes. Anytime a dog is sitting next to me, they're going to get a nice massage from me, and I just really feel deeply into dogs.
Oh, that's so neat. That truly is, as a matter of fact. And I think that's the fact that you have a connection with an animal. Sometimes, that doesn't always happen, to tell you the truth. I've often wondered why or how some people connect with dogs versus turtles versus fish. I guess all of us have some kind of on some level, a connection, whether it be an animal or non-animal type element. So very cool to hear that. Now, am I right in guessing that at this moment you have 3 dogs? Is that still correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 3 dogs from the Humane Society here, and one is a little Schnauzer Doxy mix, little Laverne, and she's actually the image for our logo. She's just darling, a little Buddha dog, and then I have a Cocker Spaniel. Turns out he's a purebred English Cocker Spaniel, and his name's Ryder. And then I have a little white Beagle Chihuahua mix named Chai.
Oh my God. That is so neat. Now, let me ask you something, obviously, because you have so much experience, and some people that might be listening in that are contemplating perhaps getting a dog for a first pet, second pet. You personally, when you go out and look for your next dog or new dog or somebody to add as a welcome addition to your home, what are the sorts of things you look for in your own dog?
Well, it's just a sense of a personality. Are our personalities going to blend? And I know that they can. When you bring them home and you get used to your own rhythms and the type of lifestyle you're going to have, and they just sort of meld into it. And so I just look for a loving, friendly dog, and they're infinite dogs that fit that description. I'd love to save them all. When I go to the Humane Society, it's very very hard for me to walk away. So that's just been a challenge because I want them all.
I understand completely. Now, before we start getting into the business of things, I want to talk a little bit about some of the other things. Now, I understand. Now, one thing that I would not have pictured is ordained minister. And I understand that you used to be in that realm of the world. I'm curious as to what lured you there and how long you had performed in that capacity.
I've always been interested in spirituality. I have always been on this path since my early 20s, and I just have found that it's a comfort to me, my belief system. And so when I came to Ojai and I had very young children, there was a woman in town who had started some churches, and she was offering a class that in the end we were all able to be ordained. And so then I started speaking, pulpit speaking at Symphony of Life Church. It's Science of Mind-based, Ernest Holmes, very a message of unity, and that we can co-create our worlds and our realities. And I did that for about 8 years, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer at that time too. So it was a very, very powerful time in my life. And now I just find as I continue I go to silent retreats. I'm still very active. I try to go to 1 or 2 a year where I can just sort of unplug from the world and get in touch deeper within myself. And so now life is my teacher. Life is my, life is my teacher.
Life is the best teacher. I don't think people understand that oftentimes because I'm educated as well. But a lot of times I go right back to those street smarts or just experience. And you know what? There's so much to be found from that. I totally agree. Now, of course, I want to get to if you're comfortable with speaking about it because I do know for a fact some of my followers and listeners are, of course, survivors of the same. So if you'd like to talk a little bit about your experience, meaning as a breast cancer survivor, how long have you been clean? When did you find out? And how did you react to that?
I was diagnosed in 2000, and I spent, a year of, surgery and chemo and radiation and treatment and all. And it actually, when I look back, it's just a faded memory now, but when I look back, I think it was a very powerful and profound time for me. I just was sort of on my own course. We'd recently moved here, so I didn't know a lot of people. My young girls were in preschool and elementary school, and so I was kind of on my own with it all, but I was very comfortable with what I believed and what I knew to be true, and I did a lot of affirmations and meditations and prayer, and that helped me through it tremendously. And I actually have a CD that I produced after that when I found out that a friend of mine was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of breast cancer, and she's still with us today as well. But I did a CD called Women, what is it called? I didn't know you were going to ask me this. But this is helping women through breast cancer, through the treatment of breast cancer. It was a shock. It was a very surreal time, and then you kind of got to get down to business. And so I left no stone unturned. I did the Western, I did the Eastern, I did homeopathic and acupuncture, and I just had a tool bag that was filled with so many different things. And people will say, what do you think it was? What was the most important thing you did? And I would have to say everything. It just wasn't one thing. And I just knew that I just didn't want to feel like I didn't do something. So in the end, I thought no matter what comes of this, I did everything I knew how to do.
Of course. Makes perfect sense. And plus, to that attitude, a lot of times, I have dear friends right now that are going through cancer treatment. They're just iconic to me. I can't even imagine what it's like to go through that, live through that sort of experience. It's mind-blowing, really. And especially when it comes to the breast cancer side. Some of my friends have lost parts of their breasts, all of their breasts. It's very, very, it's just very devastating, for lack of a better term, but I don't need to tell you that, obviously. So congratulations on the clean bowel health.
Well, thank you.
Wonderful news for you. Quite all right.
Yes.
And thank God because you're here now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to talk to you, and that would really suck. So I think this is awesome.
That's right.
Now, I see that you used to be a massage therapist, so I have a question for you because we love talking about that because I'm guessing you don't have time to massage people anymore. However, you're probably versed in massage. Let me ask you this. I was just at I have a long time. When you write for a very long time, type for a very long time, carpal tunnel, things of those natures sometimes become very problematic. So I went and I had this neck x-ray done. So the doctor comes to me and she's like, you should find a massage therapist. And I'm thinking, what does that have to do with my arms and carpal tunnel, right? But she's like, apparently I have something in the back of my neck that's supposed to be straight that somehow I've managed to curve a bit, meaning like instead of it staying straight, it's now curved because of the position I sit in, etc. So I'm just curious to tweak your brain a little bit and ask you, is that something that really could actually help me in the long run? Meaning having
well, I think body work, body work is as important, for us as, other things that we tend to in our lives. We take care of our cars, we get them tuned up, we get the oil changed, we do all that. And I consider body work that we get for ourselves as self-care, and I do think it's very important. We have a little Chinese massage area in our downtown that you can just go in for a 10-minute, a 20-minute, an hour, and it's reasonably priced. And I take advantage of it, several times on a monthly basis, just when you need a little quick, and they can help crack your back. And I also think some deep stretches. I'm a registered yoga teacher too, and I do the yin yoga, which is a very, very much about the soft tissues, and it's a very delicious healing kind of yoga. And there are some stretches that you could do to help with that curvature of the neck, and I think that you could get a lot of help between yoga and between massage therapy. Yes.
Oh, nice. Very good. Well, see, now I trust you. Not that I don't trust the other people, but I've seen like 15,000 doctors, and you know what that's like. At a certain point, you're like, you know what, I'm kind of over this. That makes sense.
Right.
So thank you. Obviously, of course, the other thing which I find really ironic is, now I'm assuming also that you still maintain and practice yoga within your own home, because I know you used to instruct it as well. Are you actively involved in that still?
I do it on my own now. I mean, just my business is going on 6 years now with me pretty much the one at the helm, and so I just had to, again, as self-care, just know what I can do and what I can't, and just on a daily basis. So I do the yoga myself. I go to the gym 3 times a week, and I have an exercise program that includes the yin yoga and the deep stretches. So yes, and I couldn't do it without it.
Oh, I can imagine, definitely, as a matter of fact. And now, the other thing that we want to talk about, at least I see here, and I think this is so neat, the CDs. You had done 2 different ones, Affirming the Good and A Loving Companion for Women Diagnosed with Breast Cancer.
Yes.
So I think it's important. Are they still available? Can people get a hold of them? And what made you want to do CDs versus, let's say, a written version or other things?
Well, I think affirmations, the affirmation CD, I found affirmations to be incredibly helpful because our mind, can go awry and with fear, and so you kind of have to tame it in like a little puppy, and so the CDs are helpful because you can, listen to the affirmations over and over again, and you're really kind of training your mind to think a different way and a more positive, healing, helpful way. So that's why I did the CDs. You could play them in the car, and I would just recite the CDs over and over and over again, and you're just sort of shaping your mind into more healthy belief systems and stepping into that reality of the affirmation. So. And then the same with the loving companion. That was all about helping. There's some affirmations on that. There's a prayer at the end, a meditation at the end, and it was just so that people could listen in the car or just when they're doing something.
I understand. It makes perfect sense. Now, just out of curiosity, because forgive me, and I say this all the time, I am dog stupid, and I mean that in the most loving way, meaning I've never owned a dog. I don't have time. I have kids. That's what I always say. I'm like, I have a cat and I have kids, and that's like more than enough to keep my time. But I'm curious, do dogs react? Like, for instance, let's say you played your CD. Would your dogs react to that? Would they have some kind of a reaction to it? Would they recognize it? I mean, obviously they live with you, so they recognize it. But do you know what I mean? Would it have some kind of an effect on them? I'm just curious.
Oh, I think I leave when I leave the house, and I will have music on for my dogs. I always have them, in a very positive, loving, calm, gentle environment. That's how our household is really, and so that's the rhythm of our lives. And so, yes, I do think that they respond, and they can be calmed, and much more than like a heavy metal rock band. There's going to be a different reaction to the tones of the music and things. So yes, I do believe that they respond to beautiful music and affirmations and subliminal words and things like that, just like we do.
Oh, of course, makes perfect sense. I understand. Which brings us, of course, to WiggleLess Back Brace. First of all, I just want to say thank you so very much for sending to me. Obviously, I do not have a dog, but I have a very, very dear friend of mine and who was having some issues with her dog. And so I said, take it home, tell me how things work. And I have to say that we have a thumbs up on all accounts. Not only is it versatile for her dog, she's very, very happy, very satisfied. I said, I'll make sure that I will pass that along to her and let her know how grateful we are for you to having sent something like that. I really appreciate that. So always the best testament, I think, is when people vouch for you and say, hey, this is a terrific product, etc. But you're the creator, so we're going to talk to you about this. Now, first of all, I want to backtrack a little bit, and we want to talk about your inspiration, which is, of course, the dogs that you lost. And tell us a little bit to those that are listening and that don't know the journey of what happened with your dog, how it brought you to a point where you felt WiggleLess is something that would be somewhat of a salvation for other dogs.
Well, the inspiration for WiggleLess was born out of my own desperation to help my 2 little dachshunds at that time, Henry and June, and they were both diagnosed with something called intervertebral disc disease, and it's IVDD for short. And it's I didn't know it. I never really had little dogs. I always had larger dogs, and so I didn't realize that they had this problem. And since I've been in my business, I've learned that dachshunds and corgis and basset hounds and French bulldogs and pugs and poodles, and there's many different breeds that are prone to back problems. So my 2 dachshunds had horrendous back issues that, sent us to the emergency room and confined rest and very strong medication. And it's a very helpless feeling for a pet owner to witness their dog suffering or in pain in any way. And I did what the protocol, and that is very important that you do that. If your dog is diagnosed with IVDD, you need to have them in a confined rest. You need the medication and all that. But then it just felt to me personally that there had to be something more. And once again, with my own experience, I've had back issues. I've had back flare-ups. And so I went to the local pharmacy for myself to get a back brace right around the same time this was happening with my dogs, interestingly enough. And it was like, is there one for a dog? And at that time, when I went online, there wasn't anything. And I called my vet, and he didn't know of anything. And so, okay, I'll just take matters into my own hands. And I had a prototype in my mind and had a seamstress sew it up and had them wear their braces, and not with any idea that I'd be starting a business with this, or not even intending to. It was just to help my dogs. And I took them to the vet with the braces, and he was incredibly supportive and encouraging, saying, these could really help a lot of dogs, because he knew that there's a lot of dogs that suffer from back problems. So it turned into a kind of an accidental business that fortunately or unfortunately, it's too bad that there's so many dogs that have back problems, but it's very rewarding to know that, this is another tool that a dog owner could have to help with their dog in need.
Correct. And that's the first thing I wanted to bring up is your brace is not specific just to IVDD dogs. It also helps those that might be either overly active or overweight or more of the older dogs, etc. Which category do you find most often uses your back brace?
Most often it's going to be a back injury. Most often it's going to be the IVDD. Okay. There's 1 in 7 dachshunds alone that are diagnosed with IVDD, so it's a big, big issue. And so most of them have an injured, dog in some way, either IVDD or, there's many different types of spinal issues, and so they need support. And yeah, it would be those types of dogs. And then I've also used, it calms them. It's a wrap-style brace, so you lay it flat on the floor, you wrap it around their spine, it secures with Velcro along the back, and that wrap style has a very calming effect too. So I've seen dogs that I have a friend who has a dog that she swears has ADHD, so I gave her one of the braces, and you could almost see that it was a little poodle. You could almost see it just sort of relaxing and melting into her arms, and she was pretty amazed. So that's another thing, just to help with calming and calming your dog.
Oh, of course, without a doubt. Now, I know that you had mentioned, of course, that typically to get the dog introduced, it's usually best, would you think, doing it like an hour on and a few hours off, or how does that normally happen when they start integrating it for the first few times?
Well, I think it's important. Pretty much once you receive the brace, you're going to know whether the fit is right and whether your dog responds well. Now, the response of your dog may take a little bit of time. The fit you'll know pretty much right away. And so, there's just so many different personalities and within every dog and dog breed, and there's many different builds, and this has been kind of the challenge of WiggleLess, is to try to fit as many dogs as possible. But yes, we recommend starting slowly, for an hour or so, and then once you realize that it's comfortable for your dog, that there's nothing really obstructed, that he can walk and sit and run and nap and be the dog that he wants to be, then go ahead and have it on for longer periods of time. We do have customers that work all day long, and so they will have their dog wear the brace all day long once it's determined that everything's good to go. I don't think a dog needs to wear it 24/7. I don't think a dog needs to wear it when they're sleeping at night, because their body is in rest mode already. So, during the most active parts of the day, we've helped dogs. We've helped prevent dogs from having to have surgery, and we've also helped dogs kind of help with the healing throughout the surgery and the recovery. And in my case, my 2 dogs, once it was determined, once they recovered from their injury and everything fully, I was like, this is now going to be for prevention. And they wore their brace during the most active times of each day, when we took a walk, and they never went to the vet again for back problems once I had the braces made for them.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. Now, we want to be sure to double check on a couple of things. Like, for instance, is there a weight restriction, meaning that your brace will only suit up to this many pounds, or is there no restriction on that? Because we want to cover that.
We started with 3 sizes and mostly geared towards the dachshunds, because we were thinking that they're the ones that have the big problems. But over the years, you know, we discovered that it's any dog of any breed that can have a back problem, just like us humans. So we have 8 sizes now, and our largest size is going to probably fit up to a 70-pound dog. So there's still more sizes that could be made. Occasionally I'll get calls in for, you know, a big golden retriever or a, you know, just a bigger dog that we can fit, because we found that mostly the bigger dogs have hip issues and not the back issues. And so that's our size range right now. And if we have a specific measuring, you know, we require certain measurements, the torso measurement and the chest measurement, and if a dog fits within those measurements, then there's a likelihood that it will fit. But there are some dogs that no matter what we do or how we try to fit them, it just doesn't fit. And there are some dogs that no matter what, they don't want to wear anything. So I wish that I could say every single dog that we've sent a brace to, you know, is good to go and helpful and all that, but that's not the case, because we're all these dogs are different, their personality, their builds, their response, all that.
I understand completely. Also, I don't want to forget to ask about this. I want to talk about the material that the back brace is made from, because some owners out there might be listening and thinking, well, what if I put this on my dog and they get a rash? Do you know what I'm saying? So can you tell us a little bit about what it consists of?
Yeah, it's made of a durable mesh. It's a double-layer mesh, so it is breathable. And the mesh, Velcro, and Cordura is what the materials are pretty much. And mostly dogs don't have any issue with sensitivity unless they don't have a lot of fur, unless they don't have, you know, hair there. So we suggest a layer in between for those dogs that have a sensitivity. Suggest a layer in between the dog and the brace, and we've recently come up with the WiggleLess Comfort shirt, which that was kind of the idea, was to have a liner underneath the brace if desired, and it can also be worn on its own. It's got a slight compression to it, so it's also kind of a healing and calming shirt that can be worn in between the dog and the brace.
Well, that's awesome. Absolutely. Now, one of the things I thought was super interesting was on your website you indicate that it's possible that in some cases a person can use a back brace on their dog versus using those cones, because I've seen the cones before. So I'm curious to ask now, how does that happen exactly? Because I thought the cones, the whole purpose of that was different than your purpose. Am I making sense?
Well, yes, and you know, it's basically where it's on the hind end of the dog that the brace would be of benefit for a cone replacement. For example, we had a greyhound who had cut himself or something, and so he went to the vet, and the owner took him to the vet, and it had stitches and all that, and the vet's like, you know, he's got to not aggravate it, you know, can't be licking it, can't be chewing at the stitches, all that. Well, it was placed in such a way because there's boning in the braces, and so his injury was in such a way that the dog couldn't turn, because that's what it does. It kind of curtails this twisting with the boning, and so the dog couldn't get to that hind end, and consequently the cut healed, you know, really quickly, and there was no issue, and it's a lot more comfortable than wearing a cone.
Oh, my God, yes. I've seen those dogs, and I feel so bad for them because they have that thing, and it's so obtrusive, and I'm like, oh, my God, that poor baby there. Oh, it just makes you sad, you know what I mean? Because, like, I realize they're animals, but still, you know, comfort is important whether you're an animal, person, whatever, so I totally understand that. One of the other neat things about your product, obviously, is healing of the skin, reducing of anxiety, of course, plus with the wiggle. Okay, talk to us a little bit about how prevention of the wiggling and the twisting is going to help some of these dogs that are having these issues. How crucial or important is it that we're keeping track of things like that?
Well, the brace is designed to curtail twisting, relieve stress, and provide a comfortable, firm support. So are you asking me, like, to how we might know what if a dog is injured or if they're in pain or if they're having back issues?
That's exactly what I'm getting at. Yep.
Yes. So there's, the dogs, obviously, they don't talk, but they certainly communicate with us all the time. So it's through their body language that a dog owner would see perhaps the dog's back is arched. There could be shivering, shaking, which is a sign of pain. There could be panic in the eyes. There could be knuckling, where that means their hind legs may drag along their toes. There's yelping when touched, maybe cowering, maybe trying to go off on their own into a corner. And the biggest sign, I think, would be the shaking and the shivering. That's a real indication the dog is in pain.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. And then
I say get your dog to the vet immediately, because in terms of IVDD, if it's caught early enough, there's things you can do, and if it's not caught early enough, a dog can become paralyzed, and then that becomes a whole different issue, and a dog may need a cart or wheels or something.
I can imagine that would be pretty. Oh my goodness, I don't even want to think about that. Now, my question to you, in my research, I really didn't get I didn't get really a confirmed answer on this. Are your products actually within, like, let's say in the veterinarian's office, et cetera, where a vet can reference it and say, hey, this is what we found at work, da-da-da-da-da. Are you working hand in hand with vets, et cetera, to get your product out there more and more?
I have a lot of vet recommendations. Mostly it's been direct sales to customers who, like myself at the time, was, desperate to find something more that I could do. So I'm selling mostly to customers who do their own research when their dog is diagnosed with an issue, and there's obviously a lot of customers that are looking for back support as well with the amount of sales that we do get. And so I think that it would be wonderful if there was one or two sizes in every vet office in the USA, because the dog is there to try it on. However, it's really customers that will bring the brace to the vet and say, what do you think of this? And we get a thumbs up, from a vet. My vet sells them in his office. We do have some veterinarians that do sell them in California, and we do have a little wholesale policy, so that's possible. But I think the benefits of having it right there in a vet office for a dog that might come in for some sort of injury, then the dog is right there to try it on. So yes, we want to work alongside vets, and we want to be another support for them.
Yes, that's kind of what I thought, because I thought to myself, that would be a great reference for somebody who's got a dog that's being diagnosed, and you can say, hey, let's try this out, et cetera. So definitely. Now, I understand that your product is produced in Ohio, and you don't produce just the back brace, because I saw, of course, you have the socks and the shirts, the supplement, and the harness as well. Do you plan on extending out on more or further products, or do you think this is a sufficient line?
Well, I think that there could be more products. I try to match products that I think are, it's all about the health and well-being of your dog. So it's been about, what products would go well with the brace. Well, the Snuggle Puppy, which I have other brand names, those are not my products. So the Snuggle Puppy that has a real feel beating heart is really good for anxiety. And if the dog is healing in a confined area or a crate, then they're going to get the benefit of feeling this wonderful heartbeat. And then we don't have a leash attachment to our brace. So specifically, that was intentional because it really is a brace and not a harness. So we have a patented sporn harness that you can put over the brace when you're taking your dog for a walk, so there's no strain on the back or the neck. We have supplements to help with inflammation and pain and joint and mobility. So yes, there's going to be more products. I just really try to carefully assess which ones are going to be the right fit for this.
Understand completely, without a doubt. Obviously, I also noticed on your website, and it looks like you do this, looks like once a month you're doing the blog on there. Is that the intended goal? Because I went and I looked back and I thought, okay, so she's blogging once a month. Is that something you do or someone else does? And it's different topics, I presume, relative to your dog than dog health, I'm going to assume?
Yes, exactly. And it's a once a month. Excuse me. Yeah, it's one. We get guest blogs. It's all, hopefully it's going to be all about health and well-being and dog education and just everything about dogs. And I collaborate with someone, and we do it together, and we do it once a month, yes. Unless we have a guest blogger, then we may have 2 blogs a month.
Very nice. And folks, just in case you're wondering if by chance it's not only liked by vets, etc., it's also like apparently receiving a Family Choice Award for Best in Pet Product. You must have been so proud. That's such an achievement. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
It's very rewarding. I mean, even just to help one dog, we're rewarded. And anytime we get a phone call, someone takes the time to call us or send a picture of their dog or write a testimonial, which we have well over 100 testimonials on our website. It's very rewarding.
Oh, without a doubt, absolutely. And I would think, obviously, of course, that the dogs, the original dogs with which you set out on your purpose to try to help other dogs, must be smiling down from heaven and thinking, oh, my God, what a wonderful owner we have. She's helping so many other dogs and so many other people. You help in the real world and in the dog world. I mean it. I don't think people realize that enough. They don't get thanked enough. You know, folks, Lisa has said that she is very fueled to inspire others to live a high-quality life. So my question to you is now that you have done all these various life titles, you've created this business for yourself, do you find that you are living the high-quality life and doing everything you want, or is there anything missing? Or let's say we go a year from now, where's Lisa going to be hopefully in a year?
Well, that's a really good question. I am very content. I have no complaints. I love my life. I love where I live. I love the friends and family I have and the opportunities and activities that I get to participate in. I'd like to grow WiggleLess more. I'd like to have more products. Eventually, I'd love to have some sort of a sanctuary for animals. I've got a vision of, piped-in calm music and, just all kinds of things to help with animals.
How cool.
And I would like to write more, just like you spoke about earlier, because that's very important to me. So I'm 59 years old, and I have a long life left, and I want to contribute to humanity and to the animal kingdom in as most positive way I can.
And I would have to say, hands down to you, oh, my gosh, I would have never known until Dana came to me and told me about this product. And, folks, I can't say enough about it, only because not only is your publicist talking about it, but tons of other people. I've read the reviews. I've read the referrals. You should be very proud of yourself. You have a product that's very durable, it's very practical, and it's also very it's got heart value to it, obviously, because you're keeping your pets protected and from further harm. And so thank you so much for that. Now, a couple quick things here, because I don't want to forget I'm going to go through this very long line of places to find you, because you don't have just a simple website, of course. So I'll go through the rundown here. Let me know if I've forgotten anything, please. The website is, of course, WiggleLess.com. And just so you folks know, it's actually Wiggle, W-I-G-G-L-E, and then Less, L-E-S-S.com. You are on Facebook yourself. You have a personal page, and her name, folks, is Lisa Luckenbach. And, of course, you have a WiggleLess Facebook page, again, same name as before. Your Twitter handle is @WiggleLess. You are on YouTube, Amazon. You have a LinkedIn profile, Pinterest. You also have an Instagram, which is WiggleLess Dog Back Brace. What else am I missing? Anything?
No, you're not missing anything, although right now we're not on Amazon. We're taking a little hiatus there. So we were doing so it's really our website right now that people can come to, because you get much more information, and the measuring is so important for these braces. And unfortunately, Amazon wasn't able to, go into the full, full website. And so right now we're not on Amazon, so we're just come to our website, and most information is there. And if there's something that you aren't answered, something that isn't answered on our website, we have a toll-free number, 888-680-6799, that you can call.
Gotcha. And that was the important question I did forget to ask, which was, if a person is listening today or somebody comes across your product and they want to get fitted, do they have to be fitted specifically by the vet with their dog, or is this something you could do at home easily?
On our website we have a How to Use tab, and then you just drop down and it says Measuring. And so there's 2 measurements that we really do require someone to do. It's not just eyeballing a dog with a brace that says, oh, that looks like my dog, I'll get that size, because there's so many different builds within breeds. So there is a measuring website. You just need a little soft measuring tape, take 2 measurements, and then again, you could be on the cusp of a size, and that's when we would want you to give us a call. If you were just kind of struggling, what size should I get? We can help with that.
Wonderful. Absolutely. And I assume also that, as far as I know, you do not have an actual established building and or place where folks can visit in Ohio, meaning if they come across you and they want to buy your product direct from you?
No, we don't. We're website. We don't have a brick and mortar.
Gotcha. Okay. Only reason I asked that, too, is also because I'll be in Ojai in the next month, actually. So I was
Really?
like, oh, if I'm going to come to Ojai. Yeah, I have a very dear friend of mine. You might even know her, actually. She is the yoga instructor. Nikki Nicoletto Christie is her name, and she actually works in Ojai. She does yoga in Ojai, and they're friends of mine, her and her husband, George. And so I'm going to be in LA to begin with, so I said, you know what, I have to stop in Ojai, and I know they live literally in Ojai, California. So it's ironic that you're calling me because I'm like, oh, I wonder if this lady lives right there or has a shop right there. I'll stop and say hi. But you don't.
We don't have a shop, but I'd love for you to stop and say hi, and I can show you some of the braces. I have a little studio in the back of our house that is kind of our international headquarters, so I can. I would love to show you and meet with you.
Definitely.
Yes,
I will definitely make sure I get a hold of you. I don't have a confirmed date yet, only because people have been asking me to go to New York and other places. So I'll keep in touch with you and let you know specifically when I'll be in town, but I'm guessing it'll be sometime in mid-March is my guess as far as that goes. I don't want to forget to mention two more things. Because it's Blog Talk Radio, it typically takes about 2 hours from the time we finish the show. So in about 2 hours or so, I'll send you or Dana or both of you the link, and then everybody can go back. The nice part is it's archived all year round, so you can go back and listen to it anytime you want. It kind of goes without saying, of course, you're more than welcome to come back on the show anytime you want to tell anything you want, especially because I know a year from now you're going to call me and you're going to say, you know what, Cindy, I wrote a book. Can you believe that? I finally took the time and I wrote a book, and now I want to promote it on your show. I'm really big on encouraging people to write. That's my thing. I'm like, you know what?
Oh, that's
it kills
wonderful.
Me when somebody, well, really, because doesn't it drive you nuts when somebody's like, no, I really want to do this, and I've been meaning to get around to it, and then I'm like, well, are you going to stop talking about it, or are you going to go do it? You know what I mean? Because people, you know, we all think that we have enough time to do everything, and you don't. So, you know, sometimes it just takes a nice little nudge, sort of like get off your butt and do all that good jazz and stuff. So, yes, so you have 1 year to write your book, and then you can come back on the show. Or you can come back on the show on your next product. Just come back, period, is my bottom line. And like I said, I'll reach out to you as soon as I know my schedule, and then we can get together in person so I can see everything because I'm so excited. And I'm so sorry again that I kept you on hold. I really appreciate you waiting for me.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, and I do look forward to meeting you in person.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. You have yourself a wonderful afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wasn't she amazing? I'm telling you folks right now. First of all, this is exactly what I say. I never, ever, ever say no to Dana Humphrey because she has the best clients in the entire world. They are intelligent, they are inspiring, and they're doing something to help themselves and or others. In this case, oh my God, this woman is helping herself, others, and probably half the country right now in California. Again, big reminder to everybody, her name is Lisa, and it's Luckenbach, and that is spelled L-U-C-H. Excuse me, I can't even spell today. Luckenbach is spelled L-U-C-K-E-N-B-A-C-H. She has a Facebook personal page. Her company, the recent company, is called WiggleLess Back Brace for Dogs. The website is WiggleLess, that's all one word put together, WiggleLess.com. The Facebook page is WiggleLess. Her Twitter handle is @WiggleLess. She is on YouTube. She has a LinkedIn profile. She's on Pinterest. And their Instagram, if you want to follow her, is WiggleLess Dog Back Brace. So definitely, again, my huge thanks to Lisa for waiting for me and taking so much time to talk to us about her product today. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck and success for the future. Dana Humphrey, to those of you that happen to be in the pet industry and need a publicist or need a really super great girl in your corner, I can't even tell you, I don't even know where to go with this. I love Dana Humphrey so much. Dana, again, thank you for like the 75th client that's the best in the world. You bring me the best because you are the best. I miss you very much. I'll be in New York next month. I hope to be able to get a chance to see you. Anybody, you have any needs? Whitegate PR. She's on Facebook, whitegatepr.com. Her name is Dana Humphrey. Go ahead and look her up. Now, as far as the rest of my show schedule this week goes, this is what I can tell you. I have a show on Friday. Okay, good. We have another doctor coming on my show this coming Friday. However, it looks like we might have a surprise author guest this coming Thursday. Keep your eyes and ears open in terms of what time it would be on Thursday. I'm just trying to confirm right now, so I don't want to throw something out there if it's not going to happen. So keep your eyes posted either to my personal Facebook page or otherwise the Sins Chat Corner radio show page. Also, do not want to forget to remind everybody, Art is Alive, My Film Festival, submission date, regular deadline, March 1st, 2017. Make sure you get in before it goes up at $45 for the submission fee. Also want to remind folks that I will be in Chicago this Thursday. I'm covering a fashion show starting at 7 o'clock on State Street. So anybody's interested in getting together for dinner, for drinks, getting together before, getting together after, you got my digits, you got my email, give me a call or send me an email. Thanks so much to everybody for being so patient and listening in while I was in this super cool McDonald's environment that I'm in. Sorry for the noise and confusion. Thank you to everybody who listened in, and I look forward to talking to you guys later this week. Take care.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.